Hey, everybody, this is Not Your Mother's Day Fantasy League Podcast. I'm your host, Mike. As always, I am joined by larger than life, super zoomed in Dave the analyst who does the research so you don't have to. How are we doing, Dave?
Doing well tonight, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing well. I see that you were playing with some settings while I was grabbing a drink. We keep toying around with this format just to make it fun.
I thought I'd go with the Pittsburgh Steeler yellow tonight for some reason.
Yeah, I like it. I'm
We'll
sensing
get
a
into that
theme.
later.
Sensing a very early theme. Welcome, Jordan, our number
Welcome,
one
Jordan.
fan. He's here every week, always comments. We appreciate it. Some interesting games this week. We were kind of well, you look at the schedule more than I do, but there's a lot of matchups that could flip flop tonight.
A lot to flip flop tonight, and also a lot of them have playoff inclinations in it. It's just that it's going to affect the playoffs, especially that AFC East race. Yeah, they got to play each other, and that I'm not sure how that's going to play out till tomorrow morning when I look at it. I mean, the Bills could lose, and Jeremy could still be in first place with the tiebreaker. It could be a three-way tie, and he could still be the top dog in that thing.
That is wild. That division just keeps getting more and more interesting. I guess before we get started, we can talk about the other two leagues real quick. So let's jump into those. Well, this far into the season, Mike and I are not really messing around. So we both took the Lions because, well, we figured they were going to crush the Jags, and they did.
Yeah, I see you guys have got it worked out where you're just going to call each other and pick the same team like you did the last 2 weeks. So
yeah, that's not very fun. We're not going to have a definitive winner that way, but obviously we were both onto something both of those weeks.
well, you can no
And
longer use Detroit. Let's put it that way.
yeah, I blew one of the best teams in the league for sure. But like I was telling you a little earlier, I try to stay away from rivalry games. I try to pick home games, and I didn't find a lot of home locks this week. Hence, the Lions were the surest bet. So
Well, you may want to take whatever team's playing the Bears next week. That seems to be a safe bet.
there's that too, or against the Jags, because even picking against the Panthers isn't safe anymore.
Yep, that's how I went out, was betting against the Panthers.
We'll look at these pool picks here. Yeah, the Bryce Young is finally starting to figure some things out. Uh, but yes, pick them. Um, looks like you are retaining your lead by 4.
Yeah, down week
Nice.
for Jeff and the Cardinals. So I'll hopefully try to get a little bit of space between him and I. I think we were tied last week.
I could have gained on you. I would have picked the Eagles and freaking slacked and didn't even get my pick in before the Thursday night game. So
Yeah,
there's that.
that's what they all say.
Yeah.
I hear you. You were
I'm
you
in
were
another
correct.
pick 'em.
You were the correct one in taking the Chargers last night. We all missed that one.
Yeah, I just feel like that's a better defense, revamped team with Harbaugh in town. That's Bengals have been struggling at least part of the year. So, yeah, I got another pick 'em, and I did pick the Eagles, so I got receipts at least.
There you go.
All right, let's jump into these games. We have no transactions to
No
mess around
transactions.
with.
We're to the boring part of the year where there's no trading and no taxi snipes anymore. So Tuesday 10 o'clock came around or 3 o'clock came around and went to pull out the screen to see who got taxi sniped, and nothing was happening.
Nothing.
Kind of
Uneventful.
boring.
This is kind of a side tangent, but I feel like these new pop-up ads at the bottom of this website are a new thing, and I hate them, especially while we're doing this show. Watch how many times I click off of them while we're doing this. I hate them. All right. Maybe I should disable pop-ups on this site. That's what I got to do.
That might do it.
Okay. First matchup here actually is intriguing. I got a lead. And I have Danico Autry going. You think I'm going to retain that lead, though?
You're up by 31. Chargers have got their punter left, linebacker Overshown, and Leofo are left for him. As you and I talked earlier tonight, we both need Overshown just to take the night off, probably rest his knees. Don't risk it.
Yeah, mistake was leaving Hill on the bench. He was questionable on Thursday, didn't readjust the lineup Sunday morning. So that could cost me, and Judy is not really proven to be worth starting over my other flex option, so I did not entertain it. Yeah, this could get close though. I would hate to lose to Jared. He beat me earlier this year, I believe. I can't let him get a clean sweep because I've swept him up until this year. So that was the
Yikes.
first time he beat me was earlier this season. I'm not getting swept by him. So cross the fingers. Moving over here to the AFC North.
Baltimore Cleveland game. This was a big matchup on the schedule this week. Both Gavin and Dan are sitting playing for that number 7 playoff spot, that third wild card spot. Currently, Dan owns it due to a tiebreaker, but with this, if Gavin wins, and Gavin's going to hold on, Gavin's going to move to 8-6. Dan's going to fall to 7-7, and he'll be a point behind or one game behind with basically 3 games left. So Dan's got who's Dan got left? Oh, he's got Tank Dell and he's got his kicker. So probably not enough to go for 100 points. So
You know what's amazing here is that Chris Boswell was zero point 0.4 points away from being his highest scorer with his 6 field goals,
but
3 of which being 50-yarders.
if you click on Boswell, he did it
Oh,
against Atlanta too
oh,
earlier in the year. I think the opening
you're
weekend
right.
he put up a 33
Yeah,
spot against Atlanta on that
yeah, right
first week.
here.
It's crazy.
See, it's 6 of them, and he had to punt once. Wow. And I was wrong. Actually, the Lions' offense with
Holy
32
crap!
points.
That's what
That's
52
got to be a
points will do
record
for you.
for team offense. That's absurd, man. The one time where Lamar slightly lets him down, and famous Jameis down here with the full 42. Wow. All right,
So,
but yeah,
anyways, good game,
Gavin's
good win for Gavin. Be
yeah.
kind of interesting and exciting if he can hang on to that lead that he's going to get after this week and make the playoffs there.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about why you changed the color of our banners today in this next matchup where the Steelers might take out the Bengals here.
And this would be the old Steelers, the old Steelers just playing the Bengals. So I'm rooting for you, Jim. Hopefully you don't mess this up, and you got 2 players that are actually playing tonight. I've got you with 2 players playing Parsons and linebacker Tioto. Those 2 ought to get you 17 points. Hopefully 18, just to make sure that you've got enough to get past Jim or Nick. But oh my gosh, look, there's a banner down there too. Oh my, I can't believe where that came from.
Wow. That
Anyways,
is a
if
beautiful
this does
picture.
happen and the Steelers do pull off the upset here, somebody's going to fall out of that number 1 seed in the AFC. So
Mm.
that's a pretty big upset and does have some uh, playoff repercussions because of it.
Look at this. Miles Garrett with the goose egg. Was he
With the big
hurt?
0.
Wow. Didn't think I'd see that. And I know we kind of pick on Jim a little bit here, but starting Pat Fryermuth over Puka Nakua, questionable.
Oh, come on. Nakua's got, I mean, now that Nakua's back, I mean, he's got to be an automatic flex player.
He's automatic every time he's healthy. Absolutely. And then you just decide on benching one of these 2 guys. That's rough. Hopefully he's able to pull it out though.
So we're rooting for you. We'll even put
In
the banner
other
up for you.
in other big news, down goes another 12-1 team.
Down goes a 12-1 team. Green Bay Packers, Mike. You can have fun with this one, Jordan. You can smile about this one. But anyways, Green Bay Packers, Mike. Yeah, he is final and down by 35 points. So this one is over. Mike's going to get his second. Can't say Mike. I guess they're both Mikes. But anyways, I find it interesting that I'm sure that Mike Bears are pretty happy that this one's over because his two players left, linebacker Kendricks, and he would have had Cooper Rush as his QB tonight. So a little desperate move tonight, getting Cooper Rush to play for his quarterback. So
that is absolutely huge. Being able to pull off a win against a 12-1 team with your suboptimal QB in the starting lineup.
they just picked
That's
him up
big.
off the free agent list this year or this week.
Yeah, that's a big one right there. Nicely done. And that's with a 47 out of Saquon. Whew.
And that was 47 on Thursday night. So
Right. So he
yeah.
was looking at a uphill climb to even pull this off. Nicely done.
Hey, Mike, you can have Mac Jones left. He's going to be cut tomorrow. I just saw the tweet there, and yeah, Mac Jones is going to be available. So
Wow. And how about Mike with this ballsy move starting Russell Wilson over Patrick Mahomes?
ah,
The cojones on this guy.
well, I guess when you're 12-1, you just make some ballsy moves,
Yeah.
right?
You just fling them around and tell people to get out of the way. Wow. Jeez. I mean, it's probably gonna cost him. I mean, I know it was at Buffalo, but the Chiefs have owned Buffalo in that series. That's ballsy. And those Steelers Ravens games are always low scoring defensive battles. Yeah, sorry guys. I will never sign off on starting a Pittsburgh quarterback against the Ravens over Patrick Mahomes ever.
Unless his
Sorry.
name's Bradshaw.
Uh, Whew, man, cojones. Retrospect is always 2020, but still. All right. Here's another one's probably flipping tonight.
Yeah, both these teams come in at 8-5. Hayden's on the inside of the playoff race there in those three wild card spots. Jordan's just on the outside of that, looking there. And Jordan, you got the lead right now. You can always hope and pray that CD Lamb pulls a hammy or something like that and doesn't play, or he's a healthy scratch. But I don't think that's going to happen. He's got CD Lamb going. He's probably worth the 5.5 points that he's going to need. So yeah, this one will flip. Even though that your screen says that Hayden's only got a 1% chance of winning, I think that's going to flip.
A lot of times in those situations where the backup QB comes in, they are just going to scheme their number one guy open, and they're just going to force feed that number one guy. I would expect, unless the Dallas really struggles to move the ball, I would expect CD Lamb to have a pretty typical night. That's just his best option on the field by
Oh, and
far.
he left T. Higgins on the bench at 32 points.
Saw that. Oh, that's tough. 9 catches.
T. Higgins show up. So
Yeah, he's been very inconsistent this year. Of course, so have the Bengals. All right, moving on to our next one here, and this one's
this one will
probably
be a huge upset if it happens. Really going to mess up with Shannon's playoff thoughts. He's in the contention for the NFC East with Washington on this game. Caleb comes in at 4-9. Shannon's 8-5, and the Giants, they're up by 20, and he's got three linebackers left, or two linebackers, Al Shahir and Liufu, and another player who I didn't find. Philly does have Mixon, Ferguson, and Hunter left, so he does have some firepower left to catch that game. So it could flip, but that 20 points, that'll be pretty significant. That's an extra player.
Sam Darnold on the bench. Geno Smith over Sam Darnold on the road. They won that game, but Hmm. I see what you're saying, Jordan. That just historically that matchup is always a punch you in the face type of matchup, and they tend to be low scoring games like that. The least surprising stat from that game is that Boswell hit 6 field goals. Those are the kind of games those guys play against each other. That's just me. Um, all right, next one is the matchup of the week, I believe
That
we're
is the
calling it.
matchup of the week, and it comes down to one game. We've talked about the AFC East for probably about the last 2 months, with the Patriots and the Bills and the Dolphins just going at it one another. And Joey finds himself right now. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? Joey's up by 27. He has Mixon, CD Lamb, and safety Petrie left. Buffalo, Jeremy, he's got Stroud and Nico Collins, his kicker, and Kendricks left. So there's a lot of firepower left on both sides. Um, Joey's got a 27-point lead.
Oh.
On the Slack page, he's already been discounting it, saying he left too many bench points on it. He's going to lose, blah, blah, blah. But that might be the old fake good game. I think I'm done. Fake you out. I'm going to show up and kick your ass type of talk. But
The
anyways,
way too early,
this
the
this
way
one's
too
going to be
early in the
interesting.
week concession.
Yep. And if Joey does win this one and Jeremy loses, you're going to find all three of those teams are going to be what, 10-4, 10-3.
Yeah.
Yep. No, they'll all be 10-4. If Joey wins this game, him and Miami and Buffalo will all be 10-4. It'll come down to tiebreakers. Going into the tiebreakers, Jeremy owns the tiebreaker on that right now. Now that we sorted that out, and it's by points, not head to head, not division. Although I think we ought to talk about that at rule change time, especially division games. Um, so, anyways,
That's
good
a
game to watch. These two will be watching and going at it all night. So,
that's a good one. And yeah, assuming he pulls it off, there
oh,
will be 3 teams 10-4 because the Dolphins are going to win.
back up a second here.
Oh,
What's Joey's other coach? Who's Joey's other coach? Was he on a bye? Oh, yeah, Joey's only got one coach. Okay,
oh,
man, he's playing the Tennessee coach. You would have thought you could have probably done better than the Tennessee coach, who's going to get you a -1.
wow. And ooh, yeah, ouch.
I mean, usually you get yourself a coach that at least keeps it close, like Harbaugh. At least he lost by 2 points and he still got you a couple points. But man, I'd hate to lose a game which could come down to half a point or so, and you lose it by the coach.
Wow. Good call.
Amon St. Brown
Um,
had another big game in that, another 44
oh
points.
yeah.
But then again, all the Detroit Lion players that played went
Yeah.
off big this week.
Yeah.
Unless you own like Laporta, which I do, and they kept him on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
Sucks.
That's been a rough one for a lot of people this year.
Anyways, this is going to be a great finish tonight.
Yep.
Uh, Hopefully it stays close and they keep us in suspense till Thursday morning stat changes.
There you go. Very possible.
Yep.
The other AFC East matchup is over.
This one is over. Braxton been on a roll for a while. Rich straightens things out. He's got linebacker Al Shahir back left. He's already up by 25 points, so he's going to add to that. Like I said, if the Patriots win, all three of those teams are going to be 10-4, which is absolutely crazy.
Oh, Knicks with a career game. Ouch.
No, he played
Woo.
the Atlanta defense. Yeah, that game was ugly. We
Only
make all
five
rookie quarterbacks look
incompletions.
good.
5 incompletions. Oh man. So you're saying the Colts and the Falcons are the cure for bad quarterback
Yep,
play?
that is true.
uh oh man. Yeah, Minshew on the bench even with 32.
Now he left Juan Jennings on the bench.
Ooh, Patrick Jones with 33 down here. They were going to score a lot of points no matter what. All right. moving on to this one, and this one is also over.
This one's also over. Dan and his Commanders, the Washington Commies, are up by 157 points. He's got two players left. He's got Nico Collins and his punter. Not that it's going to matter in this game. But anyways, Washington's going to move to 10-4. That's important because compared to Philly, so Philly's got to pull off his win to be able to stay within striking distance of Washington. Dallas is going to fall to 7-7. The only thing he's got left is an offense.
Moving over to the AFC South. This one's
Yes,
also over.
both of these teams are on a 4-game losing streak coming into this game. So unfortunately, somebody had to win. And Dustin and his Tennessee Titans are up by 42 points. He's got a defensive end and Barnett left. Seth and his Texans, all he's got left is a punter. When the dust settles on this one, both of the teams are going to be 4-10.
Ouch. Well, that's why I need to hold on so I can have my 5 wins over these guys.
Well, keep in mind that when we go into seeding after week 13, it doesn't go into records. It goes by points possible.
Yeah. More AFC South action, but this one's over.
This one's over. Jason was hoping to build upon his big win last week, and that's not going to happen. Jacksonville's up by 27. He's got two players left. He's got Hunter and Stingley left. Jason and his Colts, all he's got left is an offense. So Jacksonville's going to go to 9-5, continue to beat on the AFC South, and Jason's going to fall to 2-12.
And Brock Bowers has been an absolute monster.
He has been a monster, and that has been thrown. That's with not a good quarterback. They've been they've been putting different quarterbacks in there every week, and Bowers still putting up monster numbers.
Yeah, that was a good signing. Good draft pick. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about why Dave is going to have his butthole clenched all night.
Oh my goodness, this is a must-win for me. I'm up by up by 13. That's not enough. Carolina and Adam, he's got Overshown linebacker left, who's averaging well over 13 points a game. But he's got a bum knee right now, so he's questionable, but hoping he takes the night off. Maybe they save him for next week. I don't know, something like that.
They
I
got
can only
nothing to
hope,
play
right?
for. Yeah, they have nothing to play for.
Yeah, and it was a really rough week on me. I didn't have my flex 5 going. Laporta was on the bench. He was a no start. So was Kincaid was a no start. Rough week on buys, but could probably make up a couple points, but not a lot. If I think this is bad, wait till next week when I've got like 20 players on buy in week 12. So,
all right, on to our next one.
all right. Well, this one here, we find Brent and his Saints on top by 35 points. Brent's currently on an 8-game losing streak, looking to break that. He's got two players left, cornerback Diggs and Coach. Tampa Bay's got Tank Dell, his kicker, Parsons, and safety Petrie. 4 of them. He's got a chance to get the 35 points, but they've got to play. So, I think Brent's got a chance on it. I'm not going to call this a flip. It's a possible flip, but I think Brent could hold on to it possibly.
Yeah, that's intriguing.
So it'd be good to see Brent get another victory and break that losing streak.
Absolutely. All right, next one. This one looks to be over.
This one is over. Currently, Scott and his Rams, they're currently holding on to that top score of the week. Don't think it's going to hold, but still he's holding it right now through the majority of the games. Seattle's got one player left. That's C.J. Stroud. Not going to be worth 75 points tonight, so just not going to happen. An important game for Scott. He's hanging tight with the Niners in the playoff race over there in the NFC West. So
Last two, we go to the NFC West, and looks like Matt's going to pull away here.
Yep, San Francisco and like I said, San Francisco and the Rams are heading back and forth on the NFC West. Um, Last week, San Francisco was losing, and then because of a stat correction, I think that game flipped over a stat correction,
Yeah.
moved back into first place, which was really crazy. Anyways, San Francisco Matt, he's up by 28 points. He's got two players left. Um, his punter and a safety Murray. Uh, Jeff and his Cardinals, he's down by 28. He's got one linebacker left. Tioto, probably not enough that's going to overcome that. Currently, Jeff's on a 10-game losing streak. He needs to find a victory somewhere or buy one somewhere. I don't know if you scroll back there. This is crazy, but take a look at what Tyson Hill did this week. This was
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I think
Wow.
Scott summed it up best today. He did everything except for kick a field goal. So
Wow. Yeah, he's just so unpredictable. You can't keep him in your starting
you
lineup.
can't put him in there. But I did look at it. You know, Jeff played him 3 weeks ago when Purdy was on the bye,
Right.
and I think he got him like 17 or 20 points or something like that. So you know, it's respectable, especially as a backup quarterback.
Sure. I'm just glad he's not tight end eligible because that's just a cheat code. In the leagues where
That
he
would be
is,
crazy.
it's just not fair. He was as of recently as last year. I
Yep.
never liked that. And our last matchup is a done deal, and the Raiders will be the hopefully lone 13-1 team.
Yep. Matt's got a chance to go to the lone 13-1. This game is in hand. Sean, tough loss for you, buddy. You put up 342 points, and you're still down by 5 points and a coach. Not sure the math can. I mean, I guess maybe the math could work that a coach could go minus 5 points, but that'd have to be a real bad butt whooping for that to happen. So if not, the Raiders are going to win this game. They got a chance to take the number one seed in the AFC and extend their win streak to 13 games. They have not lost since week number one.
Wow.
Win, by the way, Denver is the team that knocked them off. So they started 0-1 and now they're 13-1. So this
Wow.
one's got some playoff implications. Obviously, that number one seed, so you get the bye in week 14 when the playoffs start.
Mhm.
Very important to have. So
Absolutely. So yeah, lots of matchups that can flip tonight. This one, like you said, matchup of the week, the opportunity to win the AFC East just keeps getting more and more intriguing.
and that one was circled on the calendar last week that it would be a great matchup, and I could not have imagined that this one would have been a great matchup. You know, this late into the week, let alone coming down to Monday night.
Hmm.
So
Of course, the other interesting one here is Dave's matchup, which could flip,
it's going to flip. That's just my luck.
and neither of
Freaking,
these
he
teams
puts
are
AR in, and AR shows up that he's actually a quarterback and puts 40 points up.
well.
Just stupid.
That's how garbage the Jets are. Maybe he needed that time off to remind himself what he was actually capable of. But he also only had Daniel Jones on a bye as his other option, so it was a
Well,
no-brainer for him.
yep. And Daniel Jones just got benched today. The Giants are
Yeah,
moving to Tommy DeVito as their
yeah.
number starting quarterback next week.
Danny Dimes is done. Um, and then of course this one. Oh, how fun this would be!
This one would be fun. We're rooting for you, Jim. Take him down.
Come on, Jim, you
I'm
got
sure Matt
this.
and the Raiders are really rooting for this one too. And I find it
We
odd that this game starts to play out, and then Nick can't be here tonight. So
Oh man, wow, how convenient. He'll rewatch it though, and then he'll see the banner going across the whole time. Just to save him, we'll go ahead and take it down now.
so
Let's go ahead and I guess peer into the future here and look at the next week of games. And yeah,
Next
no
week's
surprise. I
games
mean,
is the last week of divisional play. Um,
yeah,
so still some games of importance. Um, obviously that AFC East game is going to be important.
yeah,
You're going to have the Dolphins and the Patriots have to play each other. That one's a huge one. Hayden and his Vikings are going to have to take off the Packers, the NFC North. They're still beating each other up. You got the one in the NFC East where Shannon and his Eagles are playing the Commanders. There's a one-game difference in that bracket. So there's a lot to be played at. Same thing with the 49ers and Rams. There's one game difference between those two in the playoffs. Um, so what I'm really liking
mhm,
about this is everybody's really close, and then we get into week 13. And if you lay an egg in week 13, you could go 0-2 because it's a doubleheader weekend.
mhm.
Um, this thing, there's a lot of playoff hustling and bustling around that may not be resolved until week 13 decides to settle down.
Yeah, it's gonna get wild here. It is gonna get wild. I'm this Bengals Ravens matchup could be intriguing as well.
The Bengals Ravens game will be interesting. I can tell you that the Bengals, one of the Bengals running backs that he acquired earlier in this year in a certain trade that we won't mention any names with, he's on a bye next week, so we won't be able to use him.
Oh,
And I'm just
oh
speaking
my
from
goodness.
experience on that because I won't be able to use him either. So these bye weeks are piling up, and there's a lot of teams on the byes next week.
And no surprise there. They got Raiders as a huge favorite, but I still got some good players. They just got to show up. Maybe I can make that interesting. Ooh, and
Well,
I get another matchup against the Bengals.
and Mike, I'll tell you about the the point spread here. The point spread that's on your average for the year. Does
Yeah.
not take into consideration until everybody's lineups are in with all the buys and who's eligible, who's not. So those are basically done on your average all year. So that's if we would have played all year without
Yeah.
any buys. So
Yeah. My highest scoring player from last year has been a dud all season. So that's fun.
yeah, well, you got to spend your money somewhere, and Tyreek thanks you for it.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Just for fun, because there were some huge scores this week. I expect to see golf at the top of this. It looks like
I believe he
uh,
was.
Bo Nix, St. Brown, yeah, Barkley, Bowers, yeah,
Taysom Hill, number 8. Can you believe that?
and defensive end Quiddy Pay. That guy, he's got a high motor. He doesn't always get sacks, but he's good at getting pressure. It's nice to see him get on the board. Anthony Richardson up there. How about that? Crazy stuff.
Yep.
You just never know. Sometimes Zach Bond had a day. Van Ginkel's just been killing it here lately. That is a steal of a contract.
Frankie Louvi had a great game the other night.
Yeah.
I think he had 2 sacks and a couple tackles to go with it.
Yeah. I'm just curious what year he is. 6 years. Man, he is really just having a solid year.
You know that. Oh, did you just see the salary on that? That's a rape job there by Jeremy Buffalo. You need to
That's
pay
what I'm
that
saying.
man.
Yeah. That's why
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
is he I'm just curious. Let's look real quick since it's been a shorter show. Is he a holdout candidate here?
Uh, click your.
Van
Nope.
Ginkel. Yes,
Yeah,
he
he
is.
is.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
he
he's been having a
is.
hell of a season.
And
Wow.
so is Trey Hendrickson. Go and
Yeah.
click on the salary, and we'll be able to tell you where the salaries need to be. Click on that. So
Yeah.
you're
So they're
looking
gonna
at
be making
top 5,
15.
top 10. I mean, you're probably looking at 14, $15 million. Now go back to points. Click on your points.
Yep.
Yeah, so those top five guys that aren't making 14, $15 million, Hendrickson and Van Ginkel. Of course,
Wow.
Bond is going to be a free agent, so he won't count. But hopefully,
Hold out.
Trevon Walker just
Hold
stays
out.
right at that number 6 or 7 spot.
Hold out. That's just insane. Wow. So all these edges possibly holding out. That's nuts. That is what makes our league interesting.
So, and for you new guys that are listening here, we start talking about holdouts. You guys will find out very, very quickly. Probably next couple of weeks, we'll probably put that out. If you're a top five player and top five player right there in the points earned, that player needs to be making at least the average of the top 10 in salary, not the top 10 in points, but the top 10 in salary. So right now, Van Ginkel or Hendrickson will be looking for a big payout. So you'll have the opportunity to either give him the pay or he becomes a free agent. So Hendrickson's not going to be making $2.9 million next year. He's possibly going to hit free agency, or somebody's going to have to pay for a first round pick to steal him.
Yep. That is what makes it interesting for sure.
And you can look at each one of the players like that. And of course, the AFC salaries are different than the NFC salaries, but the points players are pretty much the same. So I would say here, Garrett Wilson, dude's going to be a holdout. You're not keeping him for $7 million.
Sure looks that way. Sure looks that way. Man, I knew Downs is really starting to pile up some good consecutive games, but he's the Colts' best receiver. If you're not starting him, you're nuts. Um, just for fun, let's go over a couple more of these. This one's always so volatile. You just never know what running backs are going to rise to the top.
Now, the interesting one on this is Bijan Robinson. He's on a rookie contract, so he can't hold out. So that's still going to be a bargain of a deal for the next couple of years until he's off of his rookie contract.
Don't trade top tier running backs, especially on rookie contracts.
And
Don't
don't
do it.
trade him within the division either.
That's why it's the only reason I was so adamantly opposed. I do not vote to veto trades very often, but I did this one. Sorry, guys. I knew what was going to happen.
Look at
Ah,
that, Derrick Henry making almost $40 million. That's crazy.
and earning it,
He's earning
earning
it.
it.
You're right. He's earning it.
Not very often you get to say that, but he is earning his
He is
money.
earning it. You are right.
Let's look at QB just for fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jaden
Baker
Daniels
Mayfield
slipping out of
going to
the
get a
top
huge
five.
raise or become a
Oh
free
yeah,
agent.
yes he will.
And it looks like in the AFC, Josh Allen's going to become a free agent also, unless he franchise tags him.
And remember, one of the reasons this is always so intriguing to me is that Dave and I were on opposite ends of a holdout. I had Brock Purdy hold out on me last year because he was a waiver extension tag. I picked him up on vet minimum his rookie season, extended him for 4 years at that vet minimum, and he held out after being a top five quarterback last year. Had the season, had our league counted week 18, Jordan Love would have held out on Dave instead, and so therefore I'm like I'm not gonna pay Brock that 17 and a half mil. And so sure enough, Dan from the Browns here gave him 17 mil, and I said he's probably somewhere between 5 and 10. And sure enough, right now he's the eighth ranked quarterback in the league.
That's the record
Uh,
of you being 4-9, by the way.
yeah, I am 4 and 9 now, and my current quarterback is way down here. Oh boy, a difference of about 60 points and 12 million a year. But
So,
the good news is with that extra 12 million, I can find myself another quarterback in the offseason.
so click on the linebackers. The linebackers are a cool one too.
Yeah, this is always intriguing as well.
Yeah, this one here, I've got Jamin Sherwood sitting the number 3 overall in the NFC, and I had him in the AFC also. He's I had him when he was making the league minimum. Um, Dude's going to have to take some weeks off, or else can't see paying him 17, $18 million. He's going to lose a lot of his value. But Pratt's
Yeah.
another player. He's on a 3-year deal. That one's going to cost Nick some money.
Yeah.
No,
Or
I take that back. Frick,
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Jeremy does not
Yep.
pay his players anything. You
Man,
dog.
he's got 3 holdout candidates right
Wow,
now.
Jeremy, pay some money,
Yeah.
buddy.
And he's just oh, the other one, man, he got lucky. We were talking about Nico Collins was going to be his holdout candidate, but of course he got hurt.
Yeah, he hurt
But
and
he's
missed a
got
couple weeks.
Stroud on a rookie deal. So his roster is going to look a little bit different next year unless he ponies up. Good stuff. Always interesting. Again, this is what makes our league more interesting than the rest.
Yep.
Just one of the reasons.
So,
All right. Anything else you want to add before we sign off, Dave?
I don't have anything. There's a lot of stuff going on tonight. We'll see how points settle in the morning and see if we've got any adjustments to make Thursday morning. I'll put a new power rankings and a playoff race tomorrow. Some of the teams are starting to get eliminated and things are still getting tight. I still don't think this thing's going to be resolved for the next 2 weeks until after that week 13 doubleheader week. And it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
That is probably true. All right. Well, good luck to all of the teams that are counting on some players tonight. Once again, go Steelers, even though he never should have traded Bijan. But we'll hope that he can take Nick down a peg because he
Yep.
deserves it.
Go Steelers.
Yep. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game, and we will see you here next week.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.